Right, 5 April 2024, and today I'll be giving you an update on the latest news on the Zimbabwe currency. There is a new currency being launched today, and this currency, everyone is waiting for it. Everyone wants to see what is going to happen when the new Reserve Bank Governor, John Mushayavanhu, is going to present the monetary policy statement that we've all been waiting for over the past few months. This thing has been delayed by over 6 months. And as I said, this is a critical moment for Mnangagwa because Mnangagwa's government faces collapse. So within the next month, Mnangagwa's government is going to collapse because of what has happened in the economy. The Zimbabwean economy is going through a very difficult time, and there is disagreement within ZANU-PF on how to approach this, especially within the presidium. Mnangagwa is going in a certain direction, and this is not agreed. There's no agreement, especially among Mnangagwa, Chiwenga, and those guys at the top. You saw what happened yesterday. Chiwenga was at Kamungoma yesterday with Mnangagwa, but he was not there during the gold inspection. That is a very important event where Chiwenga was expected to be there, but he did not feature. You saw that when the actual inspection took place, the people that were there were Mangunja, Mushayavanhu, Mnangagwa there at the center, and Mtuli on the right, and Young Kuda Mnangagwa there at the end. So the people that actually did the inspection were the four. So the three that you see on the right, there were people that were over there. And you can see also that the deputy governors were not there. The actual structures of the Reserve Bank were not involved in this whole activity. Mnangagwa went to Kamungoma with Mnangagwa and Chiwenga and Mohadi, but then he left them when he went to the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. There's also a misunderstanding on what it is that the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe actually holds as gold. You can see that overnight they've increased the amount of gold that the Zimbabwe government is holding. So yesterday they said they've got 1.1 tonne. Overnight, the Herald is now saying that they've got 2.5 tons. So this information that is being provided is not correct. It's just guesswork. So there's no way that yesterday you say you've got 1.1 ton, and then your main newspaper wakes up and says today you've got 2.5 tons and you've got 300 million cash reserves. So this takes me to what Nelson Chamisa has said regarding what is happening in Zimbabwe. And I think that Chamisa's approach is very correct. Chamisa is saying the problem in Zimbabwe is leadership. So there needs to be a leadership model change, and there needs to be dialogue. So he has repeated this in a tweet yesterday, and you can go and look at this tweet at Chamisa's Twitter account. But what I want to focus on here is we are ready to provide the leadership that acts, not reacts. We must resolve the drought of leadership. Zimbabwe deserves better. We must fix the broken politics, resolve the disputed election conundrum, and reverse the rigged elections scourge and restore majority rule. Zimbabwe needs a citizen government. So I think what is important here is what we've been talking about, what everyone has been saying, which is to say there must be a dialogue in Zimbabwe. There must be an attempt to bring everyone on the table and avoid these peaceful solutions that Mnangagwa is bringing. Mnangagwa is failing on everything. All his projects are failing. And all the reports that are coming out of Zimbabwe, they are showing that there is a problem in Zimbabwe. Nothing is working. And I want to specifically look at what is happening with the projects. I've said to you that the projects in Zimbabwe are failing. So if you look at the Mbudzi interchange, that is a massive problem. But before I go there, I want to show you what Chiwenga said, so that we can finish the Kamungoma thing. I'm going to come back during the weekend to give you an update on what is happening with the rituals. This is the most followed story in Zimbabwe. The rituals that Mnangagwa is performing so far is the most followed story in Zimbabwe, which I've done this month. People are very interested in the activities that Mnangagwa is trying to take so that things normalize in Zimbabwe. But let's look at what Chiwenga did. Chiwenga did go to Kamungoma and he spoke. So I was very interested in what he said over there.
Preservation of sites of national importance is very critical in closing gaps in our history as a nation. I therefore urge the surrounding communities to jealously guard this monument against vandalism.
Okay, so the point I'm trying to make here is Chiwenga was not sick. He basically boycotted Mnangagwa at Mbungo. So I do not know if this means that he is now back in the fold, but there is a massive fight between the two guys, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga, but an even bigger fight between Chiwenga and Mohadi. There is a massive fight among these guys. Things are not working. And the biggest problem that we have right now is that as Mnangagwa tries to put in place these solutions, they are not sustainable solutions. They're not long-term solutions. The solution needs to come from a broader negotiation within Zimbabwe so that the society agrees. And I do not think that Mnangagwa is going to do it. Eventually, everything is just going to fold, and ED is going to get out of the way. And Chiwenga is seeing himself as the successor. That is why you saw he went around on all those projects. The Mbudzi interchange project is a mess. Now, right now, as we speak, the portfolio committee in parliament went there yesterday. And that project, if you look at it, nothing has happened there. I want to show you a video of the engineer speaking very quickly.
At 61% in terms of overall progress. With bridges, we're at 87% and just over 40% with the earthworks. There are certain bridges that still need to be fixed, to be completed for the earthworks to pick up pace.
I've spoken to the engineers. They have shown a lot of commitment that this project will be finished according to the timelines. However, the issue of compensation needs to be dealt with, and dealt with as of yesterday, for us to be able to finish the work here.
Right, so you can see that this project is not done. There is no single bridge that is complete at Mbudzi. There is the actual earth where they're working is not level. They've not completed the leveling. The whole payment of people who own that land has not been done. They do not have money. So all the projects that Mnangagwa is running are not finished. They're actually just at the beginning. If you drive from Harare and you're going to Masvingo, massive portions of that road are not complete because the contractors there are not paid. So it's a massive problem. There's no way that these guys have got $300 million that they're talking about. There is no money in the Zimbabwe government. They don't have maize. They have to import maize. So this structured currency that they're trying to launch is not going to work. If you look at what they're saying is 1 ton of gold. If you look at South Africa has got 36,000 tons of gold, according to estimates. And so estimates obviously go between 8,000 tons and 36,000 tons. But that's not even the point, because the South African government has got other assets and they're transacting. So you don't use gold to transact. And the Zimbabwe government is trying to transact using gold. That doesn't work. You don't transact using gold. You only use gold as a store of value. And in fact, so that if something really massive happens, you can have a bit of something to take away, to run away with. And where is the Zimbabwe government running away with? So rich people use gold so that if they have to leave, or if someone seizes the assets, they have something else which they can hold on to. The gold market is the most manipulated gold market in the world. And so it doesn't make sense. I do not know how this is going to work. The actual problem we have is that there is a structural problem in the whole economy. And as Chamisa says here, we need to have a dialogue so that we can start from afresh, start from scratch. Mnangagwa's policies have totally failed. They're not going to work. And no matter how hard he tries, it's not going to work. Then let's quickly go into the news. I want to look at the features. Today there's a feature in the independent newspaper. So I want to point you to that feature. There's a lady called Messindoro here who's featured there. So I would like you to probably go and have a look at the independent newspaper. She's the FBC Microplan Financial Services Holdings chairperson, but she's also the Dairy Board of Zimbabwe CEO. So you can go and check her out there. She has spoken a lot. And I think there's a lot that has been written about Mesindoro. You can go and check that out. It's a very interesting feature. And then in terms of the NASA investment director, the guy with the big hair, he appeared in court yesterday, and he said he's not been on the run. He is being accused of stealing money in Kariba, where they bought a lodge over there, and they inflated that lodge, and he's being accused of stealing $25,000. He inflated it by $25,000. So I don't know how he managed to collect that money, but that is what he collected. And then in terms of what is actually going to happen today, in the afternoon, there's going to be the announcement of the monetary policy statement, and we're all going to be watching that. Dr. Fedias Mteleri is probably going to come here to analyze that, so I'll have a chat with him. He was supposed to come last night, but we've decided that he can come after the actual announcement. Then in Botswana, there's been massive developments there. SADC has gone to meet the president of Botswana over Ian Khama. So Ian Khama is currently in exile in Eswatini, and the president of Botswana has accused South Africa and Eswatini of backing Ian Khama, and he says that they are destabilizing Botswana. So it's a massive statement from Masisi, who is facing an election, and he is now coming out guns blazing. He's also told DBS that he's willing to leave the deal that they have. So there's a deal between DBS and Botswana, where DBS manages all the diamonds. So there could be a massive destabilization of the Botswana government. Masisi is a very big problem, and I've said this in the past. The way that Masisi is approaching his politics is almost the same as the way that Mnangagwa approaches his politics. He is very vindictive against Khama, and the things that he has done over the past few years has totally taken democracy back in Botswana. Botswana is now one of the risk countries in terms of democracy in Southern Africa. Then I want to obviously end here very quickly because I don't want to take a long time. We'll probably be back tonight to look at the structured currency. So look at that very, very closely. It's a very, very interesting day today. So let's all look forward to what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. And all the newspapers are out. H Metro is out. Herald is out. B Metro is out. So you've got a wide range of newspapers to look at the news that is happening. In sport, there is a lot of conflict in ZIFA, in the ZIFA Normalization Committee. So I think you can also go and look at that. I'm not really following what's happening in ZIFA. I'm following it from afar. But there's a lot that is happening in ZIFA. I think Omega Sbanda was speaking yesterday, slamming some other people for what they're doing in the ZIFA Normalization Committee. But today, everyone is looking at John Mushayavanhu. This is going to be a disaster. What I'm going to watch at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe does not have a plan, and Mnangagwa does not have a plan. You can see that the failure to dismiss Mthuli Ncube and young Kuda Mnangagwa, it shows you that Mnangagwa is too quite powerful. So I said this last week. If you see Mushayavanhu sitting there, Mthuli Ncube sitting there, Kuda Mnangagwa sitting there, things are still in Mnangagwa's hands. He's still got a bit of power. The day when things actually change, the first thing that you're going to see is the firing of Mthuli Ncube and the firing of Kuda Mnangagwa. Those two, they're not fit for purpose. Right now, they're not able to make changes at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe that you need to have a proper currency. You also need to look at the failure to have an electronic payment system. Currently in Zimbabwe, there's no electronic payment system. You've got something internal. But if a tourist comes to Zimbabwe, so Barbara was at Victoria Falls. She was at Victoria Falls yesterday. And she says a lot of tourists are coming to Zimbabwe and they're landing in the air, Zimbabwe at the Zimbabwe Victoria Falls airport, and they go to Zambia and so forth. What happens is that when tourists land in Zimbabwe, they're carrying cash. They don't leave a cent in Zimbabwe. So the tourism structure in Zimbabwe is wrong. They've not fixed it properly. They don't understand the chain, how everything gets together, how everything connected together. And this is where the problem is. There needs to be an overhaul of the system. And these guys are just looking at the parts. So each person is looking at one part. They're not looking at the overall, which is what I said Chamisa is talking about here. The whole system needs to be looked at. And people say, what are we doing wrong as a system? Let's recreate a new system. Take, for example, what they've said today. They've announced in Harare that every building must be repaired. So everyone has been given 14 days to repair the building in Harare. If you've got a tall building in Harare, you've been given 14 days to fix it. Do you understand the impact of that? How do you do a construction in the whole city at once? So, and you take it throughout the country. How do you do what you're doing as projects, and then you don't finish, and then you start a currency and you don't finish, and the tourism is not sorted? So it's an overall system problem that is there because of the leadership style of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa does not want to move out of a campaign mode. He's currently in a campaign mode, which is a very, very big problem. Then I want to look at the comments. Mkoma 101 says, Further encourage the people of Zimbabwe to take the money from the bank, sabotaging Second Republic's attempt to improve the currency. Mkoma 101. No one normal is going to bank their money in Zimbabwe. And that I can tell you. The money you see in Zimbabwe is hot money. So Ndinesa Mariango today with the intention of taking it out tomorrow. Because if your currency is going to collapse by 8 times, there's no way you can plan. And so Fadzai is not the problem. Fadzai has been trending since Monday, but she's not the problem. I do agree that we need a new order in Zimbabwe. We need Mnangagwa to leave, and then a new person must take over. Mnangagwa and his current approach doesn't work, and everyone is agreed. Which the problem is Mnangagwa. He needs to leave, and ZANU-PF guys are also agreed that Mnangagwa is the problem. This whole thing won't work as long as you have Kuda Mnangagwa. You've got Mthuli Ncube, you've got the guys at the Reserve Bank. John Mushayavanhu was a treasurer of ZANU-PF at Masvingo, from what I've read online. He's got no view on the currency. He's got no view on the economy. What is the view of John Mushayavanhu that he has put out to the people about the Zimbabwean currency? So if Gambakwe, if you're sitting here, Gambakwe has told you his view on the currency. We need to move to the US dollar. We need to get rid of the multi-currency system. We need to remove all the other currencies, and Zoom switch and all that, and eco cash, and have one currency, which is the US dollar. And we need to increase production. And you can only increase production if loans are available at low interest rate. So that is Gambakwe speaking. What is the view of John Mushayavanhu on anything? Have you ever heard him speaking? So that is the problem. We don't want a Reserve Bank governor who does not have a well-known and articulated view. And that is the problem we have. John Manguti was the worst. He kept changing his stories. And now we have a guy who doesn't talk, who's just sitting there quietly. Then Mkoma Kudakwa says, good morning, Gambakwe. Yes, dialogue is good, but ZANU-PF is only welcome to unit government and not equitable power sharing. Chamisa is forced to nullify the SADC report and endorse the election. Very difficult. Chamisa does not want a unity government. So I've said this in the past. Chamisa wants a situation where we remove everything that we have now and create a transitional system. So that is the removal of Mnangagwa and his government as it is right now, and create a transitional setup. And that transitional setup will guide us to a new thing. And so that is where we are. We cannot have another election now because of the current situation. Yekuti, ZEC is compromised and the systems are not in place, the laws are not in place to do another election. Then Mkova Jonathan says ED doesn't want to solve the problem of currency because we will lose in the black market. Yes, we've been saying this. Not only ED, the whole system is rotten. So all the banks in Zimbabwe are involved. And all the guys that you see are in the banking sector. So Uyumangunja is from CBZ. If you look at Mushayavanhu, he's from FBC. Anamnangagwa, they are players in the black market. Anamchangwa, they are players in the black market. The whole system is dirty. And now we know they're all players in the black market. They won't want to fix this currency. So someone has to push them out from this currency. And when they are pushed out, that also means they're pushed out of the gold market. The gold market is very strange because gold has increased in value by almost, let's say, 80% in US dollar terms over the past, let's say, a year and a half. Gold has moved from around 16,000 to what it is trading at today. I think today gold is trading at, let's see what gold is trading at today. Gold is trading at 22.77, somewhere around. Yesterday it hit 23,000, all-time high. So what happens with gold is it's the most manipulated market in the world. The price of gold is not set by one party. So you can sell your gold here in a different price and another somewhere else at a different price. But Anamnangagwa, they're bigger players in the gold market. That's why you see them keep on talking about gold. Gold is also something that you can put in your plane and you go. So you can fly out and it cannot be traced. Could gold rakavakupi. So that is why these guys favor gold. So Anamnangagwa, they're not just players in the currency market. They're also players in the gold market, which is the most manipulated and the easiest choice for people who want to do money laundering. If you want to launder money, you just take your gold bar and you're gone, and no one is going to catch you, especially if you land at an airport like Dubai, where they don't check. So they don't check with you. Where do you come with the gold? The Dubai guys want they want the gold to come in. They don't care where it's coming from. And then I want to end with the Mkoma MS saying, gold is not manipulated Gambakwe. It's the price set by global markets. Yes, Mkoma MS, there is no one gold market. So gold, what it does is it's got different prices set by different people. And it depends on where you sell it. So whoever you talk to will tell you their own price. I want to give you this another day. Gold. Gold is my daily thing. I do gold analysis on a daily basis. Like there's no day when I don't go in the gold market. And this is what I'm talking about. The problem is not the asset. The asset is useless because it doesn't transact. The problem what we have in Zimbabwe is transactional. How do you transact? And then how do you store value? And so the problem with Zimbabwe is we can't transact as an ordinary person. In South Africa, if you're holding the rand, everyone knows that you use the rand everywhere. If you got dollars, you must prove where you got those dollars before they get into the market. In Zimbabwe, it's the opposite. Everyone has got dollars, but there is no way of turning those dollars into an electronic form. And in Zimbabwe, that problem won't go away as long as you've got these current guys who are in office. And Mnangagwa, they like this. You keep distracting me with the gold. I think let's have this discussion another day because I don't want us to lose what is important here. That gold is an asset. Oil is not an asset, right? You don't take oil, Kuti. I want to keep oil so that in 10 years' time I can use it. Oil, you use it for burning. And if you've got reserves like the United States of America, if something happens globally to the supply, you inject oil into the market so that you manage the price. And there's a cartel, OPEC, which runs oil. Whereas gold, there's no OPEC for gold. Now that is the point I'm trying to make. Kuti munakafunga nasi kuti ndoda kurowa gold kuti rive pa 19,000, pa 1900, richienda ku 2,400. They can do it that very moment. And also the gold trading market is the biggest. So people are speculating on gold on a daily basis, which makes gold unsuitable for Zimbabwe. It's not suitable. And I think discussion here gold because I sit to the gold chart on a daily basis. But that is not the point. The point is today we're going to see something that we've never seen before. They do not know how to fix an economy. And I believe what Chamisa is correct with it. Let us have a dialogue. Where have you ever seen a country where the opposition leader is saying, let's have a dialogue, and the actual president is refusing? That makes no sense. And that is where the problem is. So I want to end it here there is a lot obviously to cover, and this is a very emotional topic. Everyone is very sad about what's happening with the money, and I almost feel like maybe we should be having panels to discuss this. I don't think we're properly discussing these issues. Zimbabweans are very removed from the economy. That's why you see Gutu, people like Fadzai are becoming the voice of what is happening in the currency market. There is no one who is coming out right now who is an economist, who is trying their best to articulate and break down to people, Gutu, what is the impact of what is happening? How much money have we lost? Where is that money going? So when we say currency, we have lost a yes a value. Where has that money gone? Have you thought about that, Gutu? Every time we lose bond note, what, all these things, spare a check, when that money is lost, where does it go? And how does that connect to the failure to produce locally, and also the imports that we're making as a country? How does that connect to what is happening? So there's a bigger problem that is there that we need to address. And I'd like to thank everyone. I think I need to wrap this up now. I know Atsata Pedza. And why is BT quiet? Of course, BT is quiet because there's no platform. BT has a platform. And I keep telling my brothers, Kuti, kana usna platform in this day and age. You are someone who does not exist on earth. So, and I meet a lot of guys. Yesterday I met a guy and we were talking. And I always say to people, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, in this new world you're going, you must have a platform. So Chamisa anevanu 1.2 million on his Twitter. Akafunga, anonyora tweet, and 150,000 will see. It's like he's addressed the rally. Mnangagwa, ane ZBC, ane ZANU-PF, cyber team, ane Shakashi for ED, and so forth. Chiwenga, kana vakada kumuvhara varongomubvisa paZBC. So you see, if they don't want Chiwenga to talk, they will remove him from ZBC. They will remove him from the newspapers. But currently Chiwenga ane Zim papers. No one wake. And then if you look at Mohadi anoshandisa whatever Mnangagwa is using. But the people who don't have a platform, it's like Tendai Biti. Tendai Biti anotomirira newspaper. Kuti riuye rizomuinterviewer ndokuti ataure. So that is what Tendai Biti need to fix. I have been telling you for a very long time. Kuti, if you want people to listen to you, you must be in their face on a regular basis and frequently. And that is where Tendai Biti is failing. He's got a lot to say. But look at Fadzai. She's got her own platform. She's able to speak. Right now, as you speak, she's trending because she's created that platform on a daily basis. She's out there. Same with Hopo. Hopo does not need anyone to speak for him. He's got his own platform. Same with Gambakwe. Gambakwe has got his own platform. On every day he speaks. And every morning he does so. So there is no problem in terms of Isusu in the future. In 10 years' time, you're going to see Gambakwe, Kutanangari Kopi. And those people with no platforms, you see. Vanofarira kurara makuseni kuma 5 a.m. Isusu tine inonzi 2 a.m. club. Pozeta vamwe vanafadzai vane 5 a.m. club. Pozeta vanamukoma vangu vanahopo vane 9 p.m. club. So that is it for today. Kutamba hango man. Let's see what John Mushayavanhu says today, and we'll be back here in the evening to give you a proper roundup, and then I'll ask Dr. Fedias Mteneri to give you guys an update during the day because I'll be busy running around. Thank you very much, everybody, for all your attention and for giving us all this opportunity to address you, and a good day.